All right, let's jump into it. So, Cayman attribute form study. I don't like the way it sounds, attribute form study, but until I come up with a better solution, until somebody else comes up with a better variation on what it should be called, we'll leave it. I got nothing right now. That's a page and that's a page, okay. Okay, so back to let's see what you wrote. Once again, attributes, I'm not sure if that's the right word. It's about taking a word and exploring what the word means form-wise, three-dimensionally. Not so much the attributes. It uses synonyms, right? So serious, can be weighty, consequential, significant, momentous. I agree. We'll see. Close inspection of architectural forms, common themes, long sweeping lines. Long, yes. Sweeping, no. Monolithic proportion, yes. Tall and heavy appearances. Yeah, once again, I'm not really sure if it fits. Tall and heavy. Kind of like a monolith. A megalithic. Let's, don't show me that ever again. Same thing with here. I mean, it's a super striking picture, which does grab your attention. But, like when we're talking about forms, this is form you can derive from, not in that so much. Good spacing. Can we try a different photo than this one? It is striking, that's a plus, but it doesn't have, because I mean, you're talking about architectural forms. Are there any other forms beyond architectural, like natural forms, maybe from furniture, maybe from sci-fi, other things than architectural, seeing that you're going over multiple areas of investigation? First thing I saw was the I. Is there a different way to say that? Through sketching through, I don't want to say they're serious. What I really want to know is, like, you said you're going to investigate, where are these words? Weighty, consequential, significant, momentous. And then the one that combines the most synonyms should be the most serious in theory, right? So, you have this maybe organization system already. If it has like a blue outline, then it is weighty. Monumental. These could be monumental. Monolithic. So maybe it's just a subtle way. And like, what's up with these corners? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's a relatively easy Photoshop. Plus, like, I see this curve here, and I see it again here, but you tell me that's not necessarily the one you focused on. Let's see what else you wrote. Instead of discovered, I like developed. That were more accurate. And can we say something different? The more grounded concept is large faces and few focus points. Communicated serious than the other ideas. I mean, that's the entire point of the project, right? So maybe not the best place to tell me it again, because I know that's what you're supposed to be doing. I do like the grounded concepts. Few points of focus. Once again, what are those points of focus? Is it an emphasis on the vertical? Is it focused on the apex, low center of gravity. Trying to find something that works. This is cool. I do like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Downside of doing this is I'm only looking at the back curve, gaps and curves. I mean, I can tell you're working with a gap here, and then it becomes increasingly, and it becomes angled, like right, that's about even or parallel, and that's converging. I'm equally interested in that point because it looks like it develops your curve. That changes a little bit, but the curve looks pretty consistent. Cool. Only thing now that you show me the render. Actually, I wouldn't mind some callouts on this because I mean, there's a development from here to here. Maybe we could talk about the face. Maybe we can show some face iterations and why you got to the point or how you got to the point. Photoshop there. It seems a bit redundant, like because you did make the literal thing, and I'm wondering, do you still have it? Could you take it in context? Because a back view, which honestly I don't think anybody will ever look at it, maybe a side view, but definitely not a back view because it's a clock, and you typically just look at clock faces. So a validation page could be useful. Oh boy! Talking about full ray. Talked about this. Talked about this. All right, we'll talk about this in class. You're good. Still, just looking at it briefly, I agree with those things that we talked about. I would move this till later. I would diagnose, and you talked about it well, about how this being unsupported allows that positive pressure and negative pressure to work together. Still with that in a side view. Does this bother you? Like this looks gray and that looks blue, so it might, like the white balance might be off. And I think that this picture, maybe a little Photoshop there. And the thing is, we want to bring attention to what we want to bring attention to, right? The top picture is superior to this one. They seem to be very similar. Cool. I want to bring an argument against this, that maybe the focus isn't on the chair, but actually I kind of think it is a look around, and that's the point of focus, and everything else gives context. All right, just like other ones. If I come up with something better, I'll let you know. But right now I'm a bit stumped, and if I can't help you, then let it ride. Space Explorers. Space Explorers. What's a good space name? That's what I'm talking about. I bet we'll find something cool in here. Quintessence. We can't use Defender of the Universe, it's too. Is this Stephen Yeun from it is! It's Steve Yeun from The Walking Dead! Crazy! I watched it this morning, it's awesome. Alora, Zarkon. What I want them to do is talk about the different planets they go to. Teledove, that's another interesting word they use. Man, just looking at some science fiction, it doesn't have to make sense. I would prefer that it doesn't make sense. That way it sounds outer-worldly. You know what I'm saying? Cool. King Alfor, a bit short. Altasona, which translates to Song from On High, which I'm not going to tell you how I know that. Okay, research over. Failing is okay. I'm intrigued. I think maybe that needs to be bigger. What level school is this? Is this a university, primary, secondary, high school, tech school? Multinational. Okay. I mean, multidisciplinary, we hear that a lot, but we don't hear multinational. I'd like to expand on those. Like, why are those interesting characteristics? What are some of the challenges of this project? Okay. Using questionnaires. I want stuff an infographic back. Well, maybe not. Who'd you present this to? You're presenting it to yourself? Yourselves, plural? Once again, I want the story inside the story. What are some of the difficulties this brings up? Because, I mean, you got Chinese, American, German, maybe a fourth party there. I mean, it's not about that, but I mean, it is part of the experience. And if this is design criteria, where are we going? Maybe what I'm liking right now is like I'm looking for a target. How does one achieve these things? And then what did you work through? What things, once you prototype them out and work them out, like, yeah, this had potential, yes, but it didn't work because of these reasons. Also, period there. And then the bottom, since you're not doing periods, kill that period off. Well, of course. I mean, this is when you talk about failure as the norm. The other ones don't focus on failure as much. I mean, that's what you told me your challenge was to make failing okay. So maybe it was a bit broader and narrowed it here. All right, I want you to explain it. Uh-huh. Yep. Chance to explore some visual brand language, a little branding across multiple platforms. I mean, when you do packaging, it gives it an overall like finished feel. Yep. I feel like this is the juiciness part of it. You tell me up front, hey, we're doing this. It makes failure okay. We work collaboratively. These are some areas that we knew we wanted to investigate. So towards the end, you need to reiterate that these were successful and your criteria was achieved. What I really like to do is hear you talk through this entire thing, because not many people have done a portfolio project on a game, and this is really a game. Another opportunity for doing some research and figuring out how other people have addressed it. Benton, yep. Nice craftsmanship. little VBL. Alright, so I'm looking for things that are architectural, formational, systemic. Well, obviously I've got repetitive geometry. I'll call that systemic. Architecture, 1, 2. Formational. Maybe these two are formational. I really don't know what the definition of formational is. Humans crave order. Agree. Good. Do you? Talked about this last time. This bugs the stink out of me. And you throw it in Photoshop, select all, transform, right click, perspective. You see how your flat line and the top implied line here converges? I'd like it to be flat. Same thing here, it feels like it rides up. Making us thinking, ooh. Some people are going to hate you for saying that because it's true. With milling them, I want to say subtractive manufacturing or some subtractive processes. Make it sound a little more sophisticated. This is just a wish list. I don't think it's possible, but you're talking about increased face size. You do increase the face size, but I'd like to see the face, and we really don't from the side view, so I'll leave it alone. Slightly decrease face front. I'm talking about this. For front proportion. Maybe there's a better way to say this. Slightly decrease face side for front proportion. Decrease face size for better balance, better visual balance. Contrasting matte and gloss black. Oh, you say using matte and gloss black to contrast layers. Noise. All right, why is it successful? Remember, if you kick off with these things, justify that you were successful in investigating them, or say, hey, listen, architectural worked good, geometric worked good, but formational didn't work as well. White balance, cool. Mixes a ton of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Is it to find new technologies? Find new solutions? Find new product offerings? Because it's not just about technology, because a lot of stuff isn't really a technological advancement. I mean, Silicon has been a long time. It's just a reappropriating or using something that's been different. It's more of an innovation than a technology change, I feel. Yeah, better. It's better that they're bigger. Could I see a version where you have the information underneath? I mean, it works, but it does make it feel a bit visually awkward. And we got some spacing issues here, right? So you got maybe not the 1/8 of an inch, closer to 1/2 an inch. So how do we get these guys to sit well with one another? I like them being left aligned, but spacing needs a bit of work. And are all these equally sized? I feel like this guy might be a bit small. It might be because it's pixelated. So could this guy get slightly bigger? Or inversely, could these guys become slightly smaller and then align the information underneath? could we make this border a little bit lighter and make maybe the outline or the value of this blue a bit stronger, a bit more saturated? Has very little times. Those times are elusive, man. Also, like, how do I measure this? I know that maybe storage is more important than it being quiet. You can give me a key, right? So if I do 2 ticks, 1 tick is low concern, 5 ticks is high concern. I don't know. I need some other advice on what to do with this guy. It's good. It communicates information really fast. The downside is all of these are out 50%, 50%, 60, 60, 80, 50. So it doesn't really matter if it's easy to use. It doesn't really matter if it's clean or not. It doesn't really matter if it's durable. It just needs to be storable. It should be safe, and I don't really care if it's quiet. That's the way I read it. All right, what are you telling me new? What do I need to know from these things? I don't even know what you're saying. I gotta read it. Through hands-on exploration of the product functions and internals, a solution is easier to develop. That doesn't tell me anything. It could be a project requirement was to keep the same volume and performance. Maybe, let me try that again. You have to keep the same volume of the existing internals. However, you can redistribute them to increase function and increase ergonomics. I feel the same way about the sketches I said last time. Mixers. Folded. Oh man. Command I. Control I. You know what I'm talking about. Mixers opened. Mixers in storage. Storage mode. Condensed. I'm trying to find something that feels more sophisticated than folded up. Yep, I would like that a whole lot. And then you got to have the new one because form-wise, that's a no. And since you're developing something new, I mean, if you talk about the user interface, it's pretty intuitive here. So you at least have to match the amount of it being intuitive or improve upon. Because it really, I mean, how it works is, how it works physically is great, but then like what mental model I understand from using these before, how can I understand how to use yours right the first time? And another thing, you see how the size of your dial is disproportionate? So this one, I want to swing these up, inch, 2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1/8 inch, 3 inch, 1/8 inch. See the difference? And I can't read these, and I can't read them. Should we write them? Half container. Coffee set. Good. Yeah, I look at this and go, like, I don't know what it is. I mean, I can get context, like that's Starbucks, which means we're in a coffee shop. Can we call it a vessel instead of a container? I think vessel sounds a bit more sophisticated. Like this, only thing I would like to do is add a little bit of color. I feel like a little bit of a peach influence might be good for this one. And what's up with the gradient? It does make that pop more, but I'm just curious why you chose to do it. All right, redesign of everyday objects. What about an exploration in design aesthetics? All right, so plural, which means we're going to use are. What are functional aesthetics? Function change, aesthetics come naturally. I would disagree with that. Good aesthetics are difficult to develop and they use lots of underlying structure. Is it form follows function? Or is it a balance of functional and aesthetic? So it needs to be equally pretty as it is functional? Or is it supposed to be function first, aesthetic second? I don't know. I need some clarity. What is the misconception? I might say, what is the... I can't really say that. What is the project not? And that's not even like really good English. Let me sit here for a second and think. How about what the project is not? Question mark. That's more of a statement. What the project is not, ... Form follows function. Purely form follows function. And aesthetics over function. Or majority aesthetic, low to no function. I feel like we need to change this a little bit because they match each other so nicely. Even like a color change, I can tell the difference between these two. Here it's borderline. So I would add a tint of a color here, maybe change the ring some way to show that these are two different. Because if you take out the half top, then it looks like a well-designed object. Yeah, still kind of unsure what your goal is. I'm not a big fan of all these dimensions because when you show me you holding it, I understand the dimensions. So what I want to know more importantly is what do you think about this design? Why did these not work? What elements did work and you developed them? And then why do you eventually stick with this guy? The position contains sugar or creamer. I don't know if it's either or either. Both cavities can be used for either creamer or sugar. Large capacity on the bottom where it is heavier to make the container stable. We gotta rewrite that too. Because visually it doesn't have a low center of gravity. We can go on. Brush and a finger agreed. Organic form kind of looks like the head of a femur, the human leg bone. I appreciate this. But like, what's the relation between these circles other than you use circles as a bounding agent? I would like this page to look like one page. So we need a better blend between the dark grays and the black. Same here. That way it looks like one image. Also, earlier you told me I can flip it out. So why did you choose to do, let's see, looks like, I don't know. These are nice. It does feel at home. I like this. It looks like a Okay, I think this is another one where I need some advice. I feel like I'm missing a couple things. It did improve. I think that's good. I think I've given you some things to add on for the next time. Let me pause this for a second. Okay. I just want to confirm I'm assuming they're in spreads. That's why you're showing me it. Could we make these just a bit bigger? I think your font size works, and it might just be a simple situation of them being small and I can't really see it, which is one of the problems of doing spreads. So let's give it a try. Who was diagnosed with this amputation? No, sorry. He received a amputation. There we go. I feel this is better. The bones in his leg would not have been able to bear weight. And he has a customized printing prosthetic that's replaced every 6 months because of his rapid growth. I wonder, he can't really keep the shoe on his prosthetic foot. Why? What are some of the difficulties? Let me go to here. Is it important that they match? I think there's a bit of a psychological thing in there too. I mean, normal kids, quote unquote normal kids, keep their shoes on. So is there like a psychological thing going on there? Like you want to fix the problem, but you also want to give him not integrity, but value as another 4-year-old, 5-year-old kid that he's normal. There's nothing different about him. He has a special condition, but he's not different. He's not different in a bad way. So maybe there's something to throw in there. That way it touches, yes, on a physical, solve the problem level, but also an emotional level. Existing products. Don't do the hyphenization. I would either enter, so it's however one line, or make sure however is written straight. However, it's too loose. It's fine. Common Velcro solutions. Additionally, the focus of this is on the shoes. So can we take the point size down on these lines? Because it's the first thing I see. I want to see shoes first. Lines which got to make to your text, and text that explains it. Yep. Back to the shoes. And keep in mind, like this is... I like how you have shoes in some of them. It goes back to the shoe until you identify a concept, and then you're like, okay, well... The secret of it is in the upper last eye hole. And so this is what we're going to do to fix it. Prototyping. See how these lines take less away? It's about the shoe first, the wording second, and then the lines third. Working on the photos. Refinement cool. Is it really just 2 steps? Clip it in. File it through. If you still have one of these, that'd be awesome, like quick, 15-second video to put on your website. All right, place it through. Oh, okay. Do both sides, lace it up. Another opportunity is there a picture of him running around, because I mean that's the original problem, is that the shoe falls off when he's being active. Of course he's not being active here, he's showing his shoes off. You could go online and see if there's a picture of a kid who looks kind of like William, and blur it out, that way he looks like he's running fast. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Very good. Batman shoe, yeah. Do you introduce the Batman shoe? We talked about it in the problem. Here we go. Batman shoes. We need to make that a big thing. Maybe a little Batman logo. Okay. Good stuff to work on. Good improvement.